Hey guys, welcome back to Yaya's Reading Nook. My name is Stephanie. If this is your first time here, welcome aboard. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. If you celebrated, happy Easter. The Easter Bunny came to our house and left a bunch of that little grass stuff and the buckets, and now it's all over the living room floor. But kids and mom have gone with Granny to Granny's church, and my daughter-in-law's brother and his girlfriend are supposed to be there. I don't know. I didn't go to church this morning. I had planned to, but it's getting to be springtime because I have a really bad sinus headache, like right here. So yeah, I didn't do anything. Anyway, I'm going to tell you about the 2.5 books I read in March. It wasn't as good a reading as I wanted it to be, but that's okay. And when I say 2.5 books, I listened to the first book on audio, and I'm not going to tell you what I thought of it. Not going to give you the star rating I gave it, because I'm doing it for another video, which is reading like my coworkers. And so I had to start reading this one, and I'm starting on a second one, or I've started on a second one. I think there's like 7 or 8 books I have to read before I can get that video up. But I listened to the second half of Iron Flame. Now, you guys know me and fantasy. If you've been here a while, it ain't my genre. I don't care about flying dragons. I don't care about magic. I don't care about little fairies running around flying their little wings. I just don't care. But that's what my coworker DJ liked. And I said, DJ, why? And he goes, because there's dragons. Fine, there's also people that do magic. There's a girl with gray tipped hair. But anyway, yeah, I listened to the second half of it. Both halves were 10 hours long, and they were full cast. And so that was a good part of it. I didn't just have to listen to someone slog through reading it. They were acting it out. Kudos to them. But you'll get my rating when I get that video done and up. But the 2 that I read, one is a cozy mystery and one is historical fiction. I haven't seen anybody talking about the first one, and it's I'm Not the Only Murderer in My Retirement Home by Fergus Craig. And it's about a woman, Carol, who spent 35 years in a prison in England for being a serial killer. And now she's out. She's in her 70s, and she has really nowhere to go, but she's got money. So she goes to a retirement home. And lo and behold, 2 of the people in the retirement home are former detectives. And one of them recognizes her. Well, one of the detectives, who was kind of Mr. Big around the retirement home, thinks he's Mr. Sexy, he gets thrown off the top of the retirement home roof. And just so happens, the day it happened, that he's, Carol's sitting on her balcony, and she sees him coming down and watches him just shatter at the ground. Well, they can't figure it out if he was taken up there against his will and thrown off, or if he was up there doing something else and fell. Really don't know. So the other detective knows who Carol is and decides she's the one that did it. And he's going to prove it. And he's got 2 friends. They're 2 women. And they're going to help him prove it. Well, Carol gets dragged into the police department. And being that she's not a novice in this, she just has to sit there and be quiet through the whole thing. She won't answer a question, won't do anything. So when someone else is killed, they're like, okay, she didn't do it because she was here. We got to figure this out. So in order to clear her name, Carol enlists the man and the 2 women into helping her. And there was another person who was killed in a sauna, and they found him. So, of course, the police come out and they're going to interrogate everybody again. Well, the guy that doesn't get killed, I can't remember what his name is, but he was a former detective too, and he's always saying, my name is Detective blah, 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 blah. And everybody's like, but you're retired. You don't count anymore. But, you know, he wants to prove that he's still got it in him. So he helps Carol. It was a 4-star read. I can't do it justice. There's a lot of snark in here from Carol. She just doesn't want to deal with stupid stuff anymore. She's 70-something years old. She did her time. Leave her alone. Let her be. Yeah. And my second one was Meet the Newmans. It's historical fiction. And it's about the Newman family. Dale, Dinah, Guy, and Shep. Think Ozzie and Harriet, because they had a TV show with their two sons supposedly mirroring real life. And that's what the Newmans are. They've been on since 1952. This is 1964 that we're in, and their show is coming to an end. And while Dale is trying to keep it going, something happens that he can't. So Dinah decides, well, the show must go on. She's a former child star, as is he. They were stars in their teen years. They were two of the ones that didn't burn out on it. And she knows the show must go on. So she decides with a newspaper reporter to write the final episode. She also decides, since one of their sponsors dropped them, that she's going to get the Sunbeam sponsor to sponsor them no matter what she has to do. She tells Shep to write one final song, and she lets Guy know that he's going to be directing, because that's all he's ever really wanted to do. And the story goes from there. We meet other characters. We meet Guy's roommate, Kelly. Yeah, his name is Kelly. Kelly's an actor in movie and TV. We meet Eileen, who is Guy's girlfriend on the show, and the head of the studio wants Guy and Eileen to get married on the show, but he wants it to be a real life marriage too, and they're like, no, I don't want to do that. He's like, well, I don't care what you want to do, that's what you're going to do. So they're in a quagmire there. Kelly's not happy about it. Guy's not happy about it. And Eileen is definitely not happy about it. Well, we've got another storyline going with Shep, because Shep has got a girlfriend, former girlfriend, who is a go-go dancer at a club, and she comes and tells him she's pregnant. Shep is only 17, about to turn 18, and she's probably about the same age. Maybe a year or two older. I don't know how old you had to be a go-go dancer in a cage in a nightclub in 1964. But he's like, oh great, I want to continue my music, that's all I want to do, and I've got this baby coming, what am I going to do? And Kelly and Guy are like, oh great, they want Guy to marry Eileen, what are we going to do? Well, it's not only about the TV show. A lot of it does revolve around the TV show and Dinah and this reporter Juliet writing the show, but it's also a look at how different the 60s were from 2026. Women could not have their own bank accounts or their own credit cards. Maybe they could have a bank account, because women did work by themselves. But they couldn't have credit cards. They could not have birth control unless they were married and their husband co-signed for it. I mean, it's a good thing my dad did, or there'd probably be many more children. I'd probably be a big sister. You know, women were looked down upon. Juliet is wanting to write pieces about feminism, about birth control, about women not being able to get abortions, about gay pride, about all sorts of stuff, and they're like, no, you're going to write about Dinah Newman's house, and is it different from the TV show House? You're going to write about this person's coming out party. You're going to, you know, stupid fluff pieces, and that's not what Julia wants to do. It's not who Juliet is. So it does that stuff. We also see Kelly go to different marches for gay rights, and he brings Guy along with him to one of them, and they get arrested, and so their manager has to bail them out. And he's like, "What were you doing in a place like that?" And he's like, "Well, I just went along with, Kelly." And Kelly, what were you doing in a place like that? And he goes, "I'm an activist now. I'm an actor and an activist. I don't talk, you don't tell me how to live my life because you're not my agent." And then they see Shep getting in trouble, but Shep's always getting in trouble, and he's always getting bailed out. But when he tells his parents that the former girlfriend is pregnant, they're like, "Oh, okay, what you gonna do about that, big boy?" But yeah, it was a really good culture lesson as to the culture of 1964 when I was born, as opposed to 2026. I really enjoyed it. Looking back on something like that I didn't know anything about really, puts a lot of things into perspective and makes me glad I was born when I was born and not any sooner. I always thought it'd be fun to live in the 50s, but I don't think so now. Anyway, I gave this one a 4-star too. So these are the 2.5 books that I read for March. I've got 2 that I'm really working on, hoping to finish. I hope to finish this one today, but I don't think I am. It just has to be finished by next Monday, and it's Heartwood by Amity Grace. And it's a Read with Jenna book. I don't know why they do. I finally figured out why they do that. I watched this girl named Cheer Denise on YouTube, and she's reading a book about Oprah. And the first copies, when they decide it's going to be a Read with Jenna selection or a Read's Book Club selection or an Oprah, they actually make the first printing with this on there, and then just kind of falls off. But this is about a woman who, well, I'll tell you about that later. Anyway, it's for my book club at Parnassus Bookstore, which next Monday is the book club. And I'm going to have it read, dang it, if I have to stay up all night one night. And I'm about close to being halfway through with a Vengeance by Riley Sager. I've heard hit and miss things about this. I'm actually enjoying it, but I like Riley Sager's work. Want to get it read. Want to get caught up on. I'm one behind on Goodreads, people. I don't like that. What are you going to do? Is Goodreads going to come for me and hold a gun to my hand and say, read, read, read? No, they're not. And I can change that anytime I want to. So, if you have read any of those books, how about let me know what you thought of them? If you are still here and you stick around, maybe give me a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed, hit the notification bell. And when I get through reading the books that I plan to read or hope to read in April, I will come back and tell you about that. So, if you celebrate Easter, I hope you have a good Easter day. I hope you get together with family and friends and throw Easter eggs out in the backyard for the little ones to look for, which is what we're going to do. I think we're going to throw some in the backyard and on top of the trampoline. And then maybe they'll jump a lot and get tired and take a nap. No, they won't. Anyway, that's all I got for now. And you guys have a really good day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.